I think a lot of people are sleeping on gaming. I think too many people don't see games as an art form. And coming from a creative myself, for lack of a better word, because what the heck does that even mean? Can see why, to a certain extent. It's probably because, games are about mastering something or escaping reality or seeing someone's head go all kablooey. And none of that exudes art, it doesn't seem artistic, but unless you're like a psychopath or something, I don't know. But with games like 12 Minutes or That Dragon Cancer or Before Your Eyes, the medium creates an experience only found through gaming. These games are very telling to the ends you can go with video games. But then again, have you ever noticed that every year the new games come out in the industry that's for some reason terrified of wasting money, so they resort to spanking out a new entry to an already tired and flaccid IP nestles their way into... Why did I write that? Nestles their way into the hands of the consumer, and they hate it. They hate the game. Oh, it's not the same. Oh, how come every 2 years it's the same game still? How come it's the same but different in all the worst ways? Rada. And I feel this sentiment because I think games are underrated. You know what I'm saying? In the very beginning of the video, I was telling you. And with every new game, there's a chance to make this already existing universe seem more tangible and lived in. With microtransactions and enemy ranks and but battle passes. What I personally find exhausting, and I mean personally, developers running out of ideas, and we're talking like narrative ideas, but also aesthetic ideas. And I'm pretty sure you can tell by the title of the video, I mean very obviously diverse game. Now, believe it or not, this video isn't really about me taking a big fat stinky doo-doo on the color neon. It's not a color. I kind of just want to talk about how, video games change, and it just seems like they all change in the same direction, and it's kind of getting on my freaking nerves because it's changing in the wrong direction every single time. The same direction, and it's the wrong direction. And I kind of want to briefly talk about like a new approach to seeing video games. Just briefly though, because I'm not a scholar. Also, bear with me, this Five Below mic is the best I have right now. Okay, strap in, let's go. It kind of seems like these developers won't let something end. And when I was a kid and I heard Uncharted 4 was gonna be like the last one, it made me sad. I was like, it's the Nathan Drake. They're taking away the Nathan Drake. There's gonna be no more Nathan Drake. Oh But I'm older now, and now I recognize that if a good story's gotta end, it better not end wrung out, It's crazy. Some developers can't bear to see their beloved IPs end, let alone on a high note. And now handsome gamers like you and me are waiting for these state of plays or directs thinking, oh, it's good now, but it's only a matter of time before they get all microtransactionally on us. Color in games is starting to get repetitive. Everything in gaming is starting to get repetitive. Even on itch, where you find the most innovators, you'll definitely find a Schmuppet Bombo or a Marionette Jumble on page 1. And, color. Color's a very interesting concept, and its experimental expression through video games is very limited. More like shallow. No substance. Not all games, but I gotta make a point. So let's get some perspective on the brightest of the brightest colors. And I don't hate color people. I don't hate color in video games. No. But in a medium where atmosphere is built on literally where you are in 3D space, and let's say you're in a bind, how much fear and terror would you feel? Because neon is colorful, and colorful is modern, and modernity comes with safety, and modernity comes in neon. Cyberpunk and a multitude of other games win with the neon aesthetic, to me at least, because fundamentally their game has modernity as one of the reasons there is a problem that needs solving. It basically means they use bright color aesthetic as something that contributes to the problem and not just as a stylistic choice. But that's not the only way to use bright colors or modern design. Some games do the opposite. They use bright colors to signify safety, but more on that later. And believe it or not, that has a big impact on how players feel about the game. I'm not too sure about you, but let's say if Outlast 3 comes out and it's looking like a whole nightclub or a strip club, then it's gonna make me feel disappointed because my expectations of a I'll talk about it later. Cyberpunk does the thing in a more realistic way, with control, corruption, and desperation looking so good, even if it's really freaking bad. Hotline Miami has an arcadey look and playstyle with punchy music, but if you peel back the layer even just a little, you see the game critiquing you. It's well flippin' done. How color is used in video games is unlike any other medium. Our eyes are familiar with this way of perceiving, unlike painting or video after all. So what you can do is make what your eyes perceive in the video game take after reality. Or you could mix it up a little. Remember when I said that atmosphere is built on where you are in 3D space? The best games I know how to use every fundamental to make you feel it. If you've ever played Arkham Knight, I think the way they use the Joker in that game is really smart too. Control does this in the best way I've beat so far. Alan Wake 2. Everywhere you look plays into that reality. The atmosphere, the tension, the effects, the distortion. It isn't binded by a ratio. You're living it. I mean, I guess it kind of is binded by a ratio because, it's a video game and you have a monitor, but you know what I'm getting. If you've ever felt an intense emotion and it started affecting how you perceive the world, then you've got a glimpse. Like fear turning into a sharp tunnel vision paranoia, or a genuine rage where everything around you turns into mush besides the thing that you want to throw at a wall or something. That's what Control feels like to me. It has this look that's like almost impossible to look at, because maybe it's the color palette and maybe it's the slight use of retro hardware making it feel like surreal nostalgia to me. It's like remembering a dream. Control uses punchy colors in the best way, and they use saturation in the most atmospheric way. One of the best uses of color in a video game ever, in my opinion. Just because it's colorful doesn't mean it's good color. And Control uses every single color to build the tension. It's immaculate. A game with a comedic tone can really fit any theme, if the jokes are good enough. And a game with a pretty serious tone can fit any theme as well, if it's good enough. If I like it, I like it. But some games can be so dang overstimulating. Hi-Fi Rush, a great game. Hotline Miami, even Doom. I always drop the controller with my head steaming. Drink water, y'all. I kind of feel bad about having these expectations for game sequels to not change their aesthetic look too much. Saints Row, even before the reboot, had a dang large overhaul. Not even just looks wise. I say they fumbled the ball large on the fourth one. Even the third one, Dying Light 2, was great. It just didn't look like Dying Light much though. 20 years later, devs? Like, from a couple weeks into the outbreak to 20 years later, that's interesting. FNAF security breach. There's a reason for this whole new phase of FNAF, and I get it. It's just, I don't know, man.
We went from William Afton kidnapping, murdering kids, putting them in suits and stuff like that, to Gregory. And I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me, man. Some people like to say that Remedy Games, when making Alan Wake 2 and Control, borrowed a lot of elements from cinema. But like I said before, to me at least, it surpasses movies because it isn't from only one lens. You can control it. Movies do this fantastic thing where they play with perception, order, timing, and color palette to guide the audience through a moment. Cinema is a very polished and intentional perspective. Everything that is recorded is controlled. It's beautiful. Control does this in many ways. Well, at least it feels like it does this in many ways. A lot of the world design is calculated, but there is no other calculation, no other deep intricacy with color use, for me at least, other than Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge does something incredibly simple with its colors. Something you've probably seen done in game levels or other indie games. But Mirror's Edge takes this very simple concept of isolated color and makes sure to push all the boundaries with it. Now, to be honest, Control strikes me as more atmospheric, but Mirror's Edge's use of color deserves praise. And here it is. In Mirror's Edge, every color has a distinct value. Now, all the colors don't have an interactable purpose like red does, like how Resident Evil has that yellow to let you know what box to stab, or Dying Light has that same shade for climbing, but they let every color shine to build moments. It makes you think like, remember that one blue level? And then you are like, yeah, I do. And it's cool because how does it do that? Well, I'm sure you know some colors mean certain things to each of us, but these meanings are built on implications. Red means no, green means yes, but in Japan, red means yes and blue means no. Isn't that strange? Sometimes these implications are brought on us by society. But other times, but other times it's moments, memories, and all that. And there's this other cool thing, accent colors. Life does not care about accent colors. It grows, places, and breaks things that aren't aesthetic all the time. And accent colors are all about using the right amount of color and contrast and the color harmony. This is how you draw attention. Mirror's Edge isolates usually one specific color and lets it stand out, but never too much because of the abundance of white and atmospheric blue in the map. This is important to why I respect world designers on this published by EA game, because when building the world, they intentionally played with the amount of color they want the world to show you. The fact that they cut back or use more for certain parts, and they often let a specific color have a moment. Different aesthetics are cool. Color harmonies and combos and all that stuff is radical, like your favorite fit. But imagine a world where everything followed the same color palette and harmony and all that. Well, we'd have something like Mirror's Edge here. And although I wouldn't want to live in a world like this, and I bet you don't want to either, it's nice to see a DICE game got to give something like that to us. Well done. I just ate a waffle. Anyway, welcome to the end card. I just want to let you guys know, thank you for watching. Thank you very much. I want to put a couple of stuff out there. Number one, dude, this video was so hard to make. I was making the assets. I was making this. I was going to make some animations, a skit. The video was going to be way longer. But, you know, life's kind of been roughing me up a little bit right now. So I kind of couldn't finish. That's why this video will have a part 2. I don't know when the part 2 will come out, but I'm very passionate about this topic. So, you know, I have to wrap it up. I am restless with this, so we're going to wrap that up. Yeah. thank you for watching. Thank you for that one specific friend that convinced me to finish the video. Thank you. You know who you are. And that's it. Ta.